Sorry about that. If you can hear me, that'd be great. Oh my God. All right. So me llamo Gabriel Gomez y no soy político. Estoy corriendo para ser senador de los Estados Unidos. Now, for those of you guys that don't speak Spanish, my name is Gabriel Gomez. I've never been in politics before, and I'm running for the United States Senate. A lot of people, when they hear me speak, say, why is he starting a speech in Spanish? It was kind of an old habit. My parents immigrated from Colombia here a year before I was born. And when I was born, my mom didn't know any English, so I learned Spanish first. Now my mom, she learned English going to the grocery store, talking to her neighbors, and that's how she learned English. And my parents, just like the Pilgrims were the first settlers, the Pilgrims were the first immigrants here in Massachusetts, my parents, they were right behind them. 344 years later, they landed at LAX. Now they came here for the exact same reason that the Pilgrims did, and that was for the American dream. The dream of opportunity and chance, regardless of race, gender, or social status. Now, I was a middle-class kid growing up in Yakima, Washington, except our last name was Gomez. Now my dad, he sold hops to breweries, and sometimes I look back and I wonder, maybe I should have followed in my dad's footsteps, or at least maybe sample more of his product. Instead, I had this calling when I was a young kid to serve my family's adopted country. And so I applied to the Naval Academy. I went to the Naval Academy, graduated from the Naval Academy, but I never left the Naval Academy or the values that it taught me. Now, after Naval Academy, I went to flight school, became a Navy pilot. I flew on and off aircraft carriers. And this was just a couple of years after the movie Top Gun came out. Iceman was already taken, so Lieutenant Gomez was pretty cool enough back then. So even though things were going great, I had a different calling as a naval officer. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Now my commanding officer said to me, he tried to do everything he could to talk me out of it. He was like, look, less than 20% of the people that go through SEAL training actually make it through. And if you don't make it through, you're going to lose your wings. You've given everything up, all you've achieved, and I said to him, I'm still going to do it. So I finished SEAL training as class leader of Buzz Class 181. Now, the greatest thing I did when I was in the SEAL teams, and I had some great times in the SEAL teams deploying all over the world, was when I met a young, beautiful woman named Sarah. Sarah became my wife. She was a Peace Corps volunteer in the West Indies at a school for children with special needs. Now people think, why am I running? I'll tell you exactly why I'm running. And that is, there's a lot of gridlock, a lot of partisan, and a lot of work not getting down in D.C. America's got a lot of problems, and we need some problem solvers, and that's exactly why I'm running. Now there's some things going on in D.C. The rest of the economy is still struggling in a lot of areas. But if there's one part of the country that the economy, I think, is doing really well, and that's D.C. You got the government business booming, you got the lobbying business booming, you got the special interest group booming down there, all while the rest of the country is still struggling. So I've got some ideas here. How about that if you're going to be a congressman or a senator, you can't be a lobbyist. You can be one or the other. You can be a public servant, but you can't be a lobbyist. There should be a law that says that you can't be a senator or a congressman and then go cash in as a lobbyist. Now another one, another idea is term limits. Just think about it. We've got term limits for the president. Why shouldn't we have term limits for congressmen and senators? And let them come back and live under the laws they've enacted. Actually, let them come back and live in the communities of which they were serving. There should be some common sense on term limits. If I'm elected, or when I'm elected, I would never ask anybody to do something I would never do myself. It's been my ethic that I've tried to live by my whole life. I would live under term limits. I think 3 terms for a congressman is more than reasonable, and 2 terms for the senator is more than reasonable. So. Now, even though this country is struggling, my family and I, we still see America as that shining star up on the hill. I mean, America is still exceptional. But I think right now, I think it's time for all of us to hit the reset button. So I'd like you to join me in my campaign for a campaign to change. I'd like you to all get aboard and join me and my family and all the friends we've met out in Massachusetts and make this a campaign of change to send somebody down there who's not a career politician down in D.C., who's been known to work with anybody across the aisle, even people disagree with me. I've been doing that all my life, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
You got it.